All right, so thank everybody for being here. All right, so let's start with the protocol, which is the roll call. So present, Adam Pollock. We have Gregory Nato, Teresa Pearson, Robin Jania Priester, and Robin Jania Pearson. Okay. We have Robert McClellan and our new, well, actually, he's working with Bob now, David Kraft, right? Okay. Welcome. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We also have, I'm sorry, I'm really bad with names, and Adriana, right? Adriana. So, yes, I went through, and we'll get to that point. Thank you for coming. All right. Thank you for joining the team. All right. Let's move on to item number 2. Proof of notice for the meeting was sent out. Does anybody have any questions regarding the previous minutes? And that's item number 3 for the approval, reading of the previous minutes. Okay, so we're going to... All right, I need a second.
Oh, thank you.
Just remember to push your mic on.
And it's Yania Pearson moves to approve the minutes for the September 18th meeting.
Teresa Priester, second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstaining?
Abstain.
So we have Adam abstaining. Opposing? None? All right. So we can, I guess, quickly move on to item number 4, which is the executive session. So I need a motion for that.
I move that we enter executive session to discuss the lease of real property and appointment of agency staff.
Thank you. Do I guess all in favor? Oh, we gotta go. Yeah, all in favor? No. Okay.
Yes, you have to vote, but it doesn't have to be a roll call.
Yeah. All right. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposing? Abstaining? All right. So we just came out of executive session in which we had a suggested motion, and it was approved to provide a severance package to a former employee. But it is subject to the council's comment. All right. Thank you for that.
Can I just say also, for the record, to vote out of executive session, motion was made by Adam Pollock and seconded by Yania Pearson.
Thank you, Chair. All right, so moving on to item number 5, the Treasurer's Report.
Thanks, Marlon. Treasurer's Report, October 16th meeting of the Newburgh IDA. First item, the operating account began with a balance of $129,123.31. There were deposits made in the amount of $91,776.13 over disbursements in the amount of $59.21, yielding a closing balance of $220,840.23. The payroll account began with a balance of $64,160.19. There were payroll expenses during the month in the amount of $8,617.45, yielding a closing balance of $55,542.74. The applications fund began and closed with the same balance, $14,151.44. The lesser tenant account began and closed with the same balance, $2,402.37. Our labor monitoring account also began and closed with the same balance, $15,014.79. Our money market account began with a balance of $1,218,784.85. There was interest earned in the amount of $4,006.92 over a service charge of $30, yielding a closing balance of $1,222,761.77. And ultimately, our Lakeland bank account, number 5683, began and ended with the same balance of $4 million even. I will hear a motion to approve the treasurer's report for September 2023.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
So Marlon and Gregory. All those in favor of approving the treasurer's report? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? And the motion carries. I'll hear a motion to approve the payment of our bills for September 2023.
Yania makes a motion to approve our
Payment of the bills?
payment of the bills. I make a motion that we approve the payment of the bills for the month of September.
I second. Marlon. Second.
All in seconds. All those in favor of paying our bills, say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed? Abstentions?
No. I do
Motion
have
carries.
a comment.
Yeah.
So in the last meeting, I brought up the fact that we may potentially have month over month show the numbers. So if we could do that to show change, since there's a lot of things happening. All right, thank you.
What we can do is we can show you a draft.
Okay.
Okay, we can talk about it
And build it.
between now and
Great.
the next board meeting.
Just that way, we can take a look at a visual of the interest gains and everything else that comes in. It's just a visual aspect. Thank you. All right, Chairman's report. So I honestly don't have anything exciting, y'all. It's been a pretty laid back, nothing other than we did meet with Gregory and we discussed the one of the RFPs that we had going on, and I actually, if you Gregory want to talk a little bit about it, feel free. I would, yeah. Yeah, if you,
We have it up for discussion.
Yeah.
Oh, we have it up for discussions as well. But that's basically it, okay? There is nothing that's come into my radar that is at the moment worth noting. Outside of that, has everybody noticed the amount of construction happening in Newburgh? Right? Has everybody felt it? Okay. Yeah, I think it's kind of like telling of where things are and where they're moving here. But yeah, so anything else? Nope, not for me. But I guess we can move on to the next item, council's report.
Thank you. I just wanted to raise a couple of things. First off, on 191 Washington, which is Seashir's project that the board approved back in June, I believe. I did have a conversation with them last week. They are still working on the bank financing. I think they're optimistic, so I know they're moving forward. I know on the hotel project, they are so far not successful with their financing, and so at a certain point, the board should consider revising those resolutions because the dates that were in the agreements simply, are not applicable. So we'll have to amend the documents that we closed. Scobie Drive, they have now until the end of the year to do their investigation. So I'll start pestering their attorney to see where they're at, and hopefully by next month we'll have a better idea of where we're going to go with the real estate contract, which surprisingly I was thinking about this on the way down. It's 3.5 years that we've been at this. And then finally, on the cell phone tower, there is a lease. There is a resolution regarding a lease renewal, but David has been looking at the payments and the payment history. There was some question, if you recall, back in the spring with the audit, what exactly was owed. I think David's put together a package for you to look at and have that in front of you. Did they have that? So, David, if you want to just go through your analysis.
Certainly, thank you. Can everyone hear me? Yep. All right. So yeah, you should have a packet. It's probably towards the back of your documents, of your pack of documents. Essentially, what I did is I went through all of the site tower license acknowledgement agreements that were in place, reviewed them to understand their terms, as well as understand what are the rents that are owed, and what are the escalations that you're going to be able to collect upon, assuming that you're able to renew these agreements, which we'll talk about with respect to the lease renewal. So there were some of the agreements that did disclose exactly what the escalation rate is for the agreements, meaning how much does rent go up over the time of the term. So, for example, with respects to the AT&T mobility contracts, the Central Hudson Gas and Electric Corporation contract, and others, they explicitly state within the agreement by what percentage the rent goes up and at what point in time. There are a few other agreements that do mention rent escalations, but they state that they are pursuant to what is in the master license agreement. So keep in mind, Crown Castle has separate master license agreements with each of these cell tower companies. So there are some terms that are in the master license agreement that we don't have, that we're not privy to, that are not in the site license acknowledgement agreement, but they are referenced. So, for example, like the Sprint contract or the T-Mobile contract, these are, in these agreements, they do mention that there is a rent escalation clause, but it's pursuant to whatever's in the master license agreement. So with that being the case, we have to look towards the business summary affidavits that the Crown Castle does share with us. And so in reviewing that has given me somewhat of an understanding of like what rates are consistent or locked in throughout the term versus which ones vary. We have reached out to the attorney for Crown Castle to get some clarifying information about what the master license agreements provide with respects to the rent escalation rates and the frequency. So I think what we can do moving forward is once we get that information, I can work with Adriana and share to figure out exactly what would be what rents the board can expect, throughout the rest of the term of the agreements, assuming that they are in place. But we do have enough information, and like I said, once we get more information from the Crown Castle attorneys, the board would be able to have a full understanding of exactly how much you're going to be able to collect, assuming that there aren't any amendments to the agreements further, which in that case, if there were, then they would disclose or share those amendment agreements, which they have in the past, and we'll be able to know at that point in time if there's any other changes that we need to be aware of. But again, I provided you with the summary, so if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask or pose them to Sharon, and she can follow up with us. The only, I would say probably, I know there was some questions about the the Dish Network license tower agreement. I noticed in the financials here, it represented $600 that was being collected. From my estimate of what the total rent is owed pursuant to the site tower license agreement should be closer to $1,500, or not closer, but it should be estimated $1,500 a month based on what is provided in the agreement. So again, we can follow up. Good thing is that it seems that the Crown Castle Council is in communication, or is willing to communicate with us. So I think it's just about us working with them to get that information, get clarification, and then, like I said, we can work with Adriana and Share to clarify, or not clarify, but to finalize any matters.
Right. So part of, correct me if I'm wrong, but part of the reason why this is also important is for the audits purposes, right? So, yeah, important work.
So this summary is exactly what I think you need to show, Cher will need to show the auditors. And, you know, I think with a little bit more on the one, what was it, Dish?
Right,
That you
correct,
just mentioned, yeah. So that, to clarify on that, you should be rock solid with the auditor when he comes back in February and March, that you have the amounts, you've confirmed the amounts, which was a finding last year. So you will have addressed that.
Thank you, David.
Do we still need to? Sorry.
So the hotel, if I misled you on that, I apologize. They haven't gotten their financing together. So they're still working on it. So it's still a go. They just need to get their financing package. So.
Do we have any information as to who they were speaking to? So,
Lakeland.
okay.
Sorry, Lakeland Bank, that was the same bank that we had spoken to over the
Right.
summer, you know, trying to instill confidence in the city
Right.
of Newburgh.
Okay.
Same bank for both projects.
Okay.
So, I mean, I did raise with the attorney at one point the fact that rates have changed
Right.
dramatically. The rates are not the issue. So, you know, the project can still go forward even with the rates higher than they were a year ago. The issue is just finding a lender that's willing to invest in the city.
So this is just a thought, but the EDC, would they have a bank of contacts that maybe we can suggest, or even, I don't know, just speaking to other IDAs that have gone through this, like, who have they partnered with? You know, maybe these are some banks that have some stomach, for the lack of a better word, for like growing and up and coming economies, cities. So
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Probably the Orange County Partnership
there you go.
would know.
So maybe there's like some, part of how the way that I see us too is being that bridge, right? To be able to like have like a Rolodeck of contacts and resources that we can refer, and at one point be able to say, these are the people that have worked over here. Maybe reach out to them.
Okay. Partnership.
Yeah.
So it's Connor and Maureen.
Thank you. Okay. All right. So thank you for that. I guess we can move on to item number 8, executives, the director's report.
Yep, so some things were mentioned already, but as you know, we've received the new application, so I'll be working on that over the next month so that you have everything you need for the November meeting. I'm also working with NDC, now known as Grow America. They're not known as NDC anymore, the consultant that we engaged to do the UTEP. So I'm going to be working with them to kind of like have a small meeting just to go over like a rough overview of what we've done. That will be with the Audit Finance Committee, so Adam, and I'm waiting for Chrissy to come back, but Marlon also would like to listen in and be a part of that. So my hope is that we have a presentation for the November meeting, that he'll come back for the November meeting to give a rough draft of what a UTEP could look like.
Okay.
We also have posted the RFP for the, what are we calling it, the PR firm, the website, advertising, marketing, and I forgot all the 3 words, but that's up on the website, and that expires November 17th, so if you know anyone, I've received a lot of questions. Usually everybody floods in the response, like the last day at 4:30, I get all the emails. Definitely a lot of attention for it. Just haven't received anything back yet. I've done a lot of phone calls with questions. What else? We have a new employee. This is to introduce her formally at the board meeting. So this is Adriana Wanalaya. That's how you say her last name. I'm very happy to have her here. She'll be the financial administrator and help with basically all office tasks. What else? I did ask the city for an update on the new board member to replace Michael Kelly. They told me that they are not ready yet. So they said that they would be discussing it at an up-and-coming meeting. So, I've been on top of that. But, I don't think the board has enough information for you all to make a recommendation. So at this point, we're just kind of at their whim to wait when they send somebody our way. Always important to let me know if you can't make it, because we only have 6 people that definitely come to the meetings. So, just to ensure that we have a quorum, always let me know if you'll be here or not. Push your button.
Do I recall that there was some recommendations,
So I only got a list of people who applied.
Oh, right.
In a perfect world, you would know all of their qualifications so that you could make a recommendation.
We didn't
But I
know
don't have-
anyone on that list? No one knew anyone?
It's a small world in Newburgh. I'm sure everybody knows somebody on that list, but whether or not you all are going to have the same knowledge to come to an agreement on who you'd want to recommend probably would be a different, harder thing to do.
Okay.
What else? I've just been following up with anybody who has expressed interest in IDA benefits, kind of projects that I know that are going through other boards that I think that eventually will come to us. I continue to follow up with them. What else? And then, usually in October we pass the budget, but because we had this changeover in staff, we've been trying to make sure we get all this actually helps with the budget too, this document that they just provided, because then you can project the money that you'll be getting for the next few years. So my hope is to meet with Chrissy when she's back in town, and Adam before the next, the goal is to have met, send out a copy of what the budget's going to look like, and then you can pass it in November. So just keeping you updated on that. And that's about it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cher. I guess we can move on to item number 9, where we're actually going to be talking about the resolutions.
All right. Okay.
Cher, would you like to lead this a little bit for the item? So we can. Do you want us to start with what we worked on, or do you want to go down the line?
So this first one is for the extension of 2 Corin Court lease. So this is for the credit union, the extension of their lease with the IDA.
Okay. So I guess we're going to need a motion.
I move that we approve resolution number 2023-001, 2023-10-16-01 to renew the lease agreement for
Hudson.
2 Corwin Court.
I second the motion.
Okay. I'll do a roll call. Marlon Ramos,
Yes.
Christina Amato is absent, Michael Kelly is absent, Adam Pollock,
Yes.
Gregory Nato,
Yes.
Teresa Priester,
Yes.
and Robin Yanya Pearson.
Yes.
Motion, resolution is passed.
Okay. All right, so we need a motion for the following resolution, which is the lease renewal agreement. The first one was the extension, correct?
He's going to introduce it.
Okay.
David's going to
Yeah,
talk
the
about this one.
extension of that.
Okay, so with respects to the second resolution, this is in regards to the land lease and, yes, the land lease agreement as well as the site lease renewal with respects to the cell towers that we just covered earlier in the session. So just so you're aware, the IDA has a lease with the city of Newburgh where you rent the land from the city of Newburgh with the intention of then entering into a sublease with now this company now Crown Castle, which essentially constructs and maintains the cell towers that they then sublease themselves to telephone companies. So there's a lot of leases here, right? So essentially, the main thing here is that your main lease that the IDA has with the city of Newburgh, that is set to expire in December of 2027. However, your lease that you have, your sublease that you have with Crown Castle, is set to expire in February of 2024. So the idea here is that first, before the idea is to the main thing is to re-engage the Crown Castle with respects to renewing the sublease agreement with them. But before we do that, we want to make sure that you secure your actual lease with the city of Newburgh for an extended period of time, so that would allow you to be able to renew your lease, your sublease, I should say, with Crown Castle. So the purposes of this resolution is to authorize the agency to engage in those negotiations or discussions with the city of Newburgh for purposes of renewing the land lease agreement for another 25-year period. And as well, this resolution will authorize you to also begin negotiations with Crown Castle in regards to renewing that underlying sublease as well. So this kind of authorizes both matters happening at the same time. Or not at the same time, but both aspects of the renewals, of the lease renewals.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Is there any questions?
Yes. There's just no lease agreement right now that we're voting on. We're voting on just moving forward with trying to secure lease agreements.
Correct.
Okay.
And sending the letter that's attached.
Right, correct, yes. Yes.
Okay, I understand.
So I need a motion.
I move that we approve resolution number 2023-10-16-02
For the lease renewal.
for authorizing the agency to renew lease agreement with the city of Newburgh.
I'll second. Yania Pearson.
Okay. Roll call. Marlon Ramos,
Yes.
Christina Amato is absent, Michael Kelly is absent, Adam Pollock,
Yes.
Gregory Nato,
Yes.
Teresa Priester,
Yes.
and Robin Yanya Pearson.
Yes.
Resolution passed.
All right, so this is the following item. Gregory, would you like to do the honors?
Sure. So we put out an RFP to look for a website designer, and we had several recipients come back to us with some engaging, some better than others, presentations. We met to discuss them and look at their qualifications, the costs. Some had very regional perspectives, so sort of New York State or Hudson Valley region. Some had clients nationwide, and so we thought maybe it would be better to have sort of a national approach to this, but Cost was an issue at the end. So we've narrowed it down to an agency called Black Dog. They're local. They have worked with other EDC, IDA, New York State government agencies developing their, I don't want to say branding, but their web presence. And so it seems like a good fit financially and creatively.
So I have
And
some-
if I just add a little bit too, they're local to the Hudson Valley, so that's a big determining factor as well.
Okay, I have a question. Content management, it looks like their proposal is that we basically are the content managers, or at least our office, because they talked about training us to do that. So, what is our capacity to manage that content right now?
So I've done WordPress in the past. I don't have any problem.
Okay,
You know, it's a big push in the beginning to get all the data on there.
Right.
Then after that, it's just hitting-
Updating
Yeah, it's
whatever happenings and you know,
right.
templates.
And then there was some talk about us, one of the things that we're exploring in terms of expansion is having a more expanded website that would actually have a lot more information. Do you feel confident that this company could handle that as that kind of growth that may occur?
Yeah, I think we do, and I think initially the 5-month process will get us a basic website,
Okay,
and then I think when we meet with them and we discuss, what our plans and
Long-term.
wishes are long term, we can say, how do we phase this? How do we expand? Please keep in mind this website needs to expand to take on these additional
okay. And then my
Features.
last question is it within our, I don't have to we already have the answer to that. Okay, never mind.
That's what we're here, probably. There you go.
Yeah. We can move forward, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So, does anybody else have any questions? Thank you, Gary, for that.
Sure.
You want to add anything else?
No.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2023-10-16-3, resolution authorizing the agency to engage a consultant, and we don't have to name that consultant?
Black Dog?
Black Dog.
Black Dog, okay.
I second the motion.
Okay, the roll call. Marlon Ramos.
Yes.
Christina Amato is absent. Michael Kelly is absent. Adam Pollock.
Yes.
Gregory Nato.
Yes.
Teresa Priester.
Yes.
And Robin Yanya Pearson.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
All right. Let's move on to the last resolution here, but definitely a very important resolution here.
But it's
So I need
winds up there.
a motion.
I move that we approve resolution number 2023-10-16-04, authorizing the agency to employ a bookkeeper.
Do we want to change that to a
Financial administrator.
Financial
Yeah.
administrator.
Correction, to employ a financial administrator.
Teresa Priester, I second it.
Thank you. Do a roll call. Marlon Ramos.
Yes.
Christina Amano is absent. Michael Kelly is absent. Adam Pollock.
Yes.
Gregory Nato.
Yes.
Teresa Priester.
Yes.
And Robin Yanya Pearson.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
All right. Welcome to the team officially.
Welcome.
what's the last name?
Okay, thank you for that, everybody. So we can move on to item number 10, old business. Give them a little bit of time.
anything?
Yeah.
I have no old business.
No old business. All right. So thank you for that clarification. And so then I need somebody to get us home.
I move that we adjourn.
I second it.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstaining? Opposing? All right.